Hello there. We've been guiding the healing process since we first opened the one-on-one preschool. And what we didn't realize was we were in a near-death experience, my newborn baby and me. And so right now, revelation is happening for everyone. And in order to participate in the revealing, we have to begin, first and foremost, we created this template in our clinic that developed from the one-on-one preschool. And the one-on-one preschool was, it was really hard for people to get in because I had to see that parents knew how to hold the light cycle with their kids. And that means to not divide on them no matter what. And so instead of getting into opinion and apology with your parent partner, we taught them how to use the listening stick and how to know that every time the child was acting out, it had to do with a miscommunication between the mom and dad. Now, we moved into bioenergetic medicine after we discovered the deeper issue, and it led us into natural medicine. It led us into counseling, because our whole vow before we gave birth to children was to give birth to children that are high on life. And that means that they have to understand the light cycle just like an identical twin. And we didn't know that until now. So we moved from the clinics in Colorado, and at one point we had 3 with a mobile one, and started teaching just in Littleton. And those apprenticeship programs moved into the community. And one of the things that the healthcare practitioners were shadowing, this was part of the Colorado Coalition for Natural Health, was understanding how to set the healing process up for success. And so we put together this model to help them open up the space outside of the cells, which if you understand that at one level your body is a great big bag of cells, then you'll understand that every day your body is excreting and eating. And so we focus on the autonomic nervous system that runs the organs, which are made up of cells, and cells are made up of organelles, and this is where the memory body is. And in order to get to the root cause, we started talking about miasma, which is the roots of healthcare. It's the roots of disease. It's the roots of fallen consciousness. And so coming out of the closet is everyone, because we're ascending now and we're in the Aquarian age, and every day the bioenergetic field is connected to these planetary pulsations, and everybody's feeling them. And to become aware that you're feeling them, we have to open up your staff, which is your spine. And to be able to open up the staff, which is your spine, requires standing in light cycles and talking about it. And most people don't know how to do that, so we've created some games to help you to understand how to end sibling rivalry. Because once you understand the staff, that's the key to the Codex. And so if you don't remember what a Codex is, we've been writing them for years. In fact, all of our healthcare courses and even our preschool courses that we wrote were based in a Codex. And so to be able to do a few math equations so that you can begin to open up this spinal flow, when we look at this spinal flow here, you're corded by your family tree. And so as we open up the Codex, we're actually going to open up the memory, and we're going to start to claim the root of triggers. So when you go into shock, you automatically go into shame and blame and guilt and scarcity. And so if you're keeping the old system in place and saying it's reality, it's scarcity. And how do you know? Because you'll be focused on problem solving. And anyone that's had a near-death experience can't go back into this death consciousness, because what comes from scarcity, and these are all related to viruses, related to pandemic miasm, just like COVID. Think about leprosy. When those outbreaks happened, we casted people out to islands, didn't we? Their very skin was falling off. So each one of the miasma is covering a chakra. And how is it covering it? Because it's a metal in the water body. And those glands that you're seeing, anytime you see a rainbow, it's falling water. And so we have unconscious humans. And this Codex is something I'll come back to, but I wanted to get to the rainbow body. When we're focused on chakras, we're in fallen consciousness. And so to vertically integrate, to let the three bodies turn to light and to actually ascend so that your water body isn't falling every day, we have to start to focus on the vertical integration, which is connected to the caduceus, related to the Holy Grail. Did you know it's your body? It is. And so Asclepius is duality. Do you see the $sign backward there? So we've got a gateway coming up here related to your water body. And I know I'm jumping around, but some of you are going to understand this. We actually had a very interesting 11 gateway up here with the new moon, and now it's all shifted to 22s. And so 22s have to do with sovereignty. And so you want to look at where you have Mars and Saturn and Chiron. Which house is it sitting in? That's all we want to know, because this is related to your health constitution. And we started bringing this in. We actually started doing this part at Chautauqua, and we could not even flip and believe it when we did the life purpose numbers, because 80% of the people in the room had the same code. Who remembers what that code was? So let me give you you can take a picture of this. Let me get back to the Codex so that we can wrap this up today. And if I'm going too slow for you, watch it over, or too fast for you, watch it over and over and over again. So here's how. There's the Ankh. You see the Ankh up there from Egypt? And so to get your staff, you're going to do 3 math equations. First, just the day of birth, which is related to your 28-day fertility cycle. It's going to give us a lot of information about your use of Dong Quai and Gohash and other medicinal herbs through 28-day cycles temporarily. And then you look at your birth number total, and you have to add them up in single digits. You might have to play that 3 times because everyone makes that mistake. And then you've got to convert the written name on your birth certificate to Pythagorean numbers. And that system is very connected to anything written. And so when we check out canceling frequencies, it has to do with the vertical integration of these miasms. And so if you were at Chautauqua, we've been integrating these the whole time, haven't we? We tried to open up a clinic to see if people were actually using the light cycle, and they weren't. And so we had to separate, purify, reunite. And now I'm ready to have a handful of people that can do this through a weekly cycle. It's not up for debate. Our mentorship program fell apart during COVID because we had 2 women collude who didn't actually understand a 7-day fertility and ascension cycle. So if you were one of them, it's time for you to come to your knees, because we've got to look at where these 22s are in your imprint before this happens, all right? We can't miss another cycle. And you know that my family is integrating every pattern, every single one. We've been in the educational system, in the parenting system, in the parent education system, in the school system before we got into medicine. And now we're sitting in the political system. We're sitting in the hospital system. And we're sitting in the judicial system. And the whole point is to end incarceration by actually rehabbing people through the vertical codex. So lots of blocking is going on because the KKK doesn't understand this is coming. It's beyond skin.